Hello. Um, Thank you for joining me. I want to share something today based on something that a video, a TikTok that I posted. A Chinese proverb says, pearls cannot be found on the seashore. Pearls are not found on the seashore. If you want a pearl, you have to dive into the ocean. If you want a pearl, you have to dive in to the ocean. So pearls are not found on the seashore. If you want a pearl, you have to dive into the ocean. That is a Chinese proverb. So what does this mean? Pearls are not found on the seashore. Pearls are not found on the seashore. If you want a pearl, you have to dive into the ocean. Nothing of value can be found on the surface. Nothing of value can be found on the surface. If you want oil, you have to dig deep. If you want diamonds, you have to dig deep. If you want coal, you have to dig deep. Nothing of value. Nothing of value. If you want pearls, you have to dive into the ocean and you have to search for pearls. A pearl is a thing of value. A pearl is a thing of value. The reason why some of you don't have valuable things in your life, even valuable principles by which you live, is because you are superficial. You refuse to dive into knowledge, dive into spirituality, dive into prayer. You refuse to dive in. If you want something of value in your life, you have to dive in. You have to go beyond the surface. You have to stop this superficial living. Superficial living does not pay you. It doesn't benefit you. If you want something of value, you have to dive in. You have to go deep. You have to go deep. In your career, if you want something of value, you have to go deep. You have to go deep. You cannot find value on the surface. You cannot find value on the surface. If you want value in relationships, you have to go deep. It cannot be superficial. Hi, how are you doing? How was work? No, you can't get value from that relationship. If you want to get value from a relationship, you have to dive in. You have to go deep. You have to talk about things that are important. You have to be vulnerable in relationships. Nothing of value is on the surface. You have to dive in. If you want to get value out of your career, your business, you have to dive in. My wife puts it this way. She says it is complete immersion. Complete, total immersion. Complete, total immersion. If you want something of value in a career, in a business, in whatever area of life, it can't be found on the surface. It has to be complete, total immersion. You have to go into that thing. You have to submerge. Because pearls are not found on the seashore. Pearls are found in the ocean. And if you want pearls, something of value, you have to go deep. It is an act of complete, total immersion. If you want to learn anything you want to learn, music, art, anything you want to learn, tech, programming, anything you want to learn, you have to dive deep to get value. It has to be an act of commitment, total immersion into that thing. The reason why some of your relationships are not working the way you expect them to work is because you have refused to dive in, to immerse yourself. It is an act of commitment to what you believe in, to your dream. If you believe in that business, in that relationship, and you want to get some value out of it, then you have to dive in. You have to make a commitment of time, of energy, of resources. You have to dive in. You have to spend more time with that person that you say you're interested in, or you like, or you love. Complete immersion. Nothing of value can be found on the surface. If you want a pearl, you have to dive into the ocean to get it. It has to be an act of complete immersion, total commitment. Total commitment. Total commitment. If you want to be successful in any area of life, it has to be by complete immersion. You have to go into it. Read books on it, study on it, go for courses on it, learn on it. Go to YouTube, get videos and watch for hours. Complete immersion. Let immersion, submerge yourself into that process, into that course, into that area of life. No matter what it is, painting, design, writing, art, music, no matter what area it is, it has to be complete immersion, because treasures are only found when you dive in. Only when you dive in and submerge, complete immersion into it. I'm a writer, and I've been writing for over 20 years. I surround myself with books. I have books all around me. I have books, not just the books that I read for pleasure. I have books that I read to learn. It has to be an act of complete immersion. I am surrounded by books. I see books all the time. I'm reading them. There is a book with me all the time. When I travel, I take books with me. I cannot be without a book. I'm a writer. It is an act of commitment, total immersion into books. If I don't submerge, and dive into books, I can never come out with books. Because if I'm looking for treasures, in writing, I have to immerse myself, submerge myself into books. Then I'll come out with good books. Treasures cannot be found on the surface. If you want a pearl, you have to dive in. Treasures cannot be found in the familiar. The seashore represents the familiar, what you're familiar with, your familiar area. You know, many of you, you're so scared of taking action, of moving out of your comfort zone. You've stayed in your comfort zone for too long. Treasures cannot be found in familiar territory. You have to go to unfamiliar territory. Diving into the ocean is diving into the unknown, leaving the known, leaving the familiar territory into the unknown. I say it and I keep saying it, that strangers at the key, at the doorway, at the channels, at the routes to your future. You have to leave the familiar people you know, people who know you, places you know, places you've been. No, your treasures are not there. Your treasures are in the unknown. Your treasures are with strangers. Your treasures are in places you've never been, with people you've never met, in things you've never done. You have to leave the familiar, the seashore, and dive into the ocean. That is where you will find pearls. If you want pearls, they are not found on the seashore. If you want pearls, you have to dive into the ocean, complete immersion, because that is where you will find pearls. You have to leave the familiar territory. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. You have to step out into the unknown. You have to take a risk. You have to step out. You have to step out of your comfort zone. Many of you, what your major problem is just you have refused to let go of your past successes. You have refused to let go of the things that worked for you in the past. And you're so scared of stepping out into the unknown. Because you keep telling yourself you don't know what will happen, you don't know what will happen. Of course, nobody knows what will happen. That is why it is called risk. But if you stay where you are, you will never grow. If you stay where you are, you will never increase. If you stay where you are, you will never blossom. If you stay where you are, you will never achieve your maximum potential. If you stay where you are, there are possibilities and opportunities you will never see. You have to step out of your comfort zone. If you want to find pearls, you have to leave the seashore and dive into the ocean. You have to dive into the ocean. You have to dive into the ocean. You have to take that risk. You have to take that step. You have to take action and move forward. Things of value are not found on the surface. Not in the superficial. Things of value. If you want to make money, you have to immerse yourself in the process. In the process. Get books on financial intelligence. Get teachers on financial intelligence. Attend seminars and webinars and talk to people who are financially intelligent. Have deep conversations, not shallow conversations, deep conversations with people who know what they're doing, because treasures are not found on the surface. Treasures are found in the deep, and you have to learn to take that step and dive into the deep. That is where you find your pearls. You have to take action. You have to do something different if you want treasures. Do something different. Take that risk. Step out. Go to places you've never been. Speak to people you've never spoken to. Try something you've never tried. You cannot achieve much with fear. No. You can't become great with fear. No. If you want to be great, if you want to be successful, if you want to prosper, if you want to rise to the top of your career, of your business, you have to learn to step into the unknown, to dive into the ocean. Where the treasures lie, pearls are in the ocean. And that is why you're going to find them. That is where you're going to find them. Many of you, you've been so superficial, and your whole life is just superficial. And you're so superficial. The things, even your dream, you don't take your dream seriously. You don't take your goals seriously. That is why you don't get the kind of results that you expect. Your outcomes cannot be greater than your commitment. Your outcomes cannot be greater than your investment of time and energy to the process. Your outcomes cannot be greater than your act of immersion. Pearls are not found on the seashore. If you want pearls, you have to dive into the ocean, and that is where you will find pearls. That is where you find pearls. That is where you find pearls. In every area of your life. If you want things of value, you have to invest time and energy in research, in reading, in studying, in developing new skill sets, diving into the ocean, in improving yourself. Because treasures are not found on the surface. Treasures are found in the deep. Thank you for listening. The Lord bless you.